My girlfriend whispered that it was only harmless fun, nothing more, as she leaned in too close to her old college buddy during our weekend getaway with friends. I excused myself from the bonfire circle without a word, packed my bag in the cabin, and drove off into the night. Now that buddy has distanced himself completely, our mutual circle is whispering about the awkwardness, and she's flooding my phone with pleas to hear her out. We'd been together for almost 3 years when it all unraveled, but looking back, the threads had been fraying for months. I met her at a local book club, the kind where people sip coffee and debate plot twists in mystery novels. Laura was the one who always had the sharpest insights, her eyes lighting up when she dissected a character's motivations. Me? I'm more of a quiet observer, the type who prefers listening to the group's chatter while nursing a latte. She told me early on that my steady presence grounded her, kept her from getting lost in her own whirlwind of ideas. Laura worked in marketing for a tech startup, which meant her days were a blur of meetings, pitches, and after-work networking events. I never minded her busy schedule. I had my own routine as a software developer, coding from home most days. Trust came easy at first. She'd send me quick updates from cocktail hours or team dinners, and I'd respond with encouragement, reminding her to grab a bite if she skipped lunch again. Being the supportive partner felt natural. I didn't want to clip her wings. But then Jason resurfaced. He was her college study partner, the guy she'd dated briefly during sophomore year before they decided they were better as friends. Or so the story went. It started innocently enough. A LinkedIn message about a job opportunity in her field. She mentioned it over dinner one night, laughing about how time had turned him into a successful consultant. "He's not the slacker I remember," she said, scrolling through his profile on her phone. I nodded, asked a few questions, and let it drop. Old connections pop up all the time. No big deal. Soon, though, Jason became a recurring topic. She'd forward me memes he'd sent, or recount funny anecdotes from their shared past during our evening walks. "Remember that time in stats class?" she'd say, even though I hadn't been there. I brushed it off, but a subtle chill settled in. Our conversations grew shorter. She'd snap if I asked about her day, saying, "It's work stuff, you wouldn't get it." Hugs turned into quick pecks, and movie nights on the couch felt forced, like she was checking a box that I chalked it up to stress from a big campaign at work. To help, I surprised her with homemade dinners or tickets to shows she liked. Her parents adored me for it. They'd say I was the reliable one she needed, especially since Laura had a habit of chasing excitement. Her dad, a retired teacher, would clap me on the back during family barbecues and joke about how I kept things steady. The turning point loomed with our annual group trip to the lake cabin. It was a tradition with our circle of friends, 6 couples, including Laura's best friend from high school and her husband. We'd rent the place for a long weekend, hiking by day, bonfires, and games at night. This year, Laura suggested inviting Jason. "He's single now, and he knows a few people in the group," she explained casually while packing. Her mom raised an eyebrow when I mentioned it during a phone call, but Laura dismissed it. "It's fine, Alex. Don't overthink it. Jason's just a friend catching up." I felt a knot in my stomach but pushed it down. The weekend was about relaxing, not stirring drama. "Okay," I said, helping her fold towels. She smiled and kissed my forehead, but it felt perfunctory. We arrived at the cabin on Friday afternoon. The air crisp with pine and lake water. Everyone unpacked, and the energy was high, laughs echoing as we set up cornhole and stocked the fridge with beers. Jason showed up an hour later, pulling in with a cooler and that easygoing grin. He hugged Laura hello, lingering a beat too long, but I introduced myself warmly, shaking his hand firm. "Good to meet you properly," I said. He nodded. "Likewise, man. Laura's told me a lot about you." The first evening passed smoothly. We grilled burgers, shared stories around the fire pit, and played cards under string lights. Laura was in her element, animated and drawing everyone in with her tales. I sat beside her, arm around her shoulders, feeling content despite the undercurrent. Jason fit in seamlessly, cracking jokes that had the group roaring. Saturday brought hikes and swimming. Laura and I paired off for a trail walk, holding hands as we navigated rocky paths. For a moment, it felt like old times. She teased me about my fear of bugs, and I made her laugh by imitating a squirrel. But back at the cabin, things shifted. During lunch, she sat next to Jason, their knees brushing as they reminisced about college pranks. I caught snippets. "You were always the bold one," he said, and she giggled. Touching his arm, I busied myself with helping clean up, chatting with our friend Mike about his new job. But inside, doubt gnawed. That afternoon, while others napped or read, Laura and Jason went for a quick paddle on the lake in kayaks. They returned flushed and smiling, clothes damp from splashing each other. "You should have come," she said to me later, but her tone was offhand. By evening, the group gathered for the bonfire. Flames crackled, casting flickering shadows. Beers flowed, and someone pulled out a guitar for sing-alongs. Laura was tipsy, her laughter louder than usual. Jason sat across from us, but soon he moved closer, claiming the log beside her for better acoustics. They started whispering, heads bent together over song lyrics on her phone. I watched from my spot, sipping my drink slowly. Friends noticed. Laura's best friend, Sarah, shot me a sympathetic glance but said nothing. Then, as the fire died down and conversations turned intimate, Laura leaned into Jason, her shoulder against his. She whispered something, and he chuckled, his hand resting on her knee for a moment too long. "It's just harmless fun," she murmured when she caught my eye, her voice carrying over the embers. "Lighten up, Alex." The words landed like a quiet slap. Around us, the group fell into awkward silence, eyes darting away. Mike cleared his throat, suggesting esmores, but the mood had soured. Laura didn't pull back. Instead, she turned to Jason, sharing another inside joke that left them both snickering. My chest tightened, but I didn't explode. Years of being the calm one had taught me that outbursts only feed the fire. I stood quietly, brushed off my jeans, and said to the group, "I'm turning in early. Long drive tomorrow." Laura frowned. "Already? Come on, stay." But her eyes were on Jason, not me. I walked to the cabin alone, the night air cool against my skin. Inside, I packed my duffel methodically. Clothes, toiletries, charger. No rush, no slamming drawers. The others' voices drifted from the fire, but I tuned them out. By the time I slipped into my car and started the engine, the bonfire was a distant glow in the rearview. I drove the 2 hours home in silence, windows down, letting the wind clear my head. My phone buzzed before I even hit the highway. "Laura, where are you?" "Laura, this is ridiculous." "Laura." It was nothing, just joking around. That I didn't respond. At home, I changed the sheets on our bed. Her scent lingered too much and crashed on the couch. Sleep came fitfully, but when I woke, resolve had set in. I gathered her things from around the apartment. Books, clothes, that mug she loved, boxed them neatly by the door. Then I changed the Wi-Fi password and my streaming logins. Small barriers, but clear ones. By morning, the messages piled up. "Laura, everyone's asking what happened. You're making me look bad." "Laura, Jason means zero to me." It was the alcohol talking. Her best friend texted too. "Hey, she's freaking out. What went down?" I replied simply, "Ask her about the harmless fun." Laura's calls started around noon. I let them go to voicemail. One, "Alex, please pick up. We can laugh about this later." Another, "You're overreacting. Come back, or at least talk." I didn't. Instead, I hit the gym, pounded the treadmill until my legs burned. Friends from the trip reached out. "Mike, dude, that was weird last night. You okay?" "Sarah." She crossed a line. "Sorry you dealt with that." Word spread quickly in our tight-knit group. By evening, Laura was back in the city, banging on my door. "Open up, Alex. This isn't funny." I stayed inside, working on code for a project. She left after 20 minutes, cursing under her breath. The next day, her tone shifted in texts. "Laura, I miss you already. Let's fix this." "Laura, You embarrassed me in front of everyone by leaving like that I almost laughed at the irony. Her parents called that afternoon. Her mom, voice soft, Alex, honey. Laura said there was a mix-up at the lake. You two okay? I paused, then said evenly, no mix-up. I just don't appreciate being disrespected. Silence, then, oh, well, I told her to be careful with old friends. Her dad followed up, son, if she hurt you, I'm sorry. You're family to us. It stung, but I thanked him and hung up. Laura's messages turned desperate. Laura, please, can we meet? I'll explain everything. Laura, it wasn't what it looked like. Jason was just being friendly. Friendly. The word echoed as I scrolled through photos on my phone, deleting ones of us together. A week later, Sarah filled me in over lunch. Jason ghosted her completely after the trip, said he didn't want drama. The group split. Some think she was out of line. Others say you bailed too quick. I nodded. Let them think what they want. Sarah squeezed my hand. You're handling this like a champ. Laura posted cryptic social media updates. Quotes about growth and misunderstandings. Photos of her alone with captions like, learning to stand strong. Mutual acquaintances messaged, what happened at the lake? Laura's saying you got jealous over nothing. I responded to a few. She got too cozy with her ex-friend in front of everyone. I chose to leave quietly. The truth rippled out, shifting opinions. Laura's pleas intensified. Laura, therapy's helping me see my mistakes. You'd be proud. Laura, we were great together. Don't throw it away. I left them unread. One night, she showed up unannounced, eyes red-rimmed. Through the door, Alex, open up. I screwed up. Okay? I was feeling neglected, but that's no excuse. Neglected? I'd been there every step, but I didn't engage. Go home, Laura, I called. She pounded once more, then left sobbing. Months passed. I threw myself into work, landed a promotion that meant more remote flexibility, started hiking solo on weekends, rediscovering the quiet joy of trails without distractions. The apartment felt like mine again. Rearranged furniture, new plants thriving in the windows. Then, a text from an unfamiliar number. Hey, it's Laura. New phone. Can we talk? I saw you in Sarah's post. Looking good. Missed that smile. I hesitated, curiosity flickering. What now? I replied. What's there to say? Her response flew in, closure. I've lost so much, the group barely invites me anymore. Jason blocked me after spreading rumors that I was clingy. Work's a mess because I can't focus. Rumors. I almost felt a twinge, but it faded. Laura, you were always so patient with me. I took it for granted. Coffee? Just once? No, I typed. I've moved on. She pushed. You don't miss us at all? After 3 years. I did once. But peace is better. Silence for days. Then a voice note. Her voice breaking. You're heartless, Alex. Walking away like I was nothing. But fine. Be alone forever. I deleted it without replaying. Sarah updated me later. She's crashing with her parents now. Quit her job, said the stress was too much. Family gatherings are tense. Her mom brings up the lake incident whenever she complains. I shrugged. That's her path. Sarah grinned. You're zen about this. Not zen, just done. One evening, strolling past the lakefront park where we'd had picnics, music from a nearby festival floated over, couples dancing under lights. For a flash, I remembered her laugh by the bonfire, her whisper of harmless fun. Then the memory dissolved, replaced by the calm rhythm of waves. She craved the spotlight. I found solace in the shadows, and solace endured.